It's Brad here at eTrailer, and today we're taking a look and installing the Blue Ox Trailer Hitch receiver on a 2021 Chevy Express van. Now this is what your hitch is going to look like when it's installed on your van, and it's an exposed cross tube, meaning you're going to see a good majority of the hitch hanging down. But on a vehicle like this, I don't think it really takes away from the look of it, and really you're gaining so much usability and new real estate with it, it's totally worth it. And this one, being a 2" by 2" receiver tube opening, is a great start to really get a ton of different accessories, as this is the standard size. So when it comes to bike racks, cargo carriers, ball mounts, whatever the accessory you're going to look for, 2" by 2" is the most common by far. All of them are going to stay in place with a 5/8 pin and clip. Now this is not included with the hitch, but many times when you pick up accessories, they'll have those included. And if you plan on leaving your accessories on the back of your van long term, you might want to look at a locking pin and clip. It becomes a good deterrent for anyone that's just walking by, and that way they can't just take your accessories with them. Our plate style safety chain loops make it super easy for a standard S hook or even a larger clevis style to hook on. That way when you're towing a trailer, you can keep that all safely attached. Speaking of trailers, if you plan on towing, this has some pretty good weight capacities. As far as your gross trailer weight rating, which is the trailer plus the accessories loaded on, we have a 6,000 pound weight capacity, which is pretty solid overall. Now, tongue weight rating, which is the downward pressure on the inside of the receiver tube opening, is going to be mostly for your suspended accessories, cargo carriers, bike racks, things of that nature. And it's got a 900 pound capacity. So, you know, you're going to get a 4-bike rack fully loaded up, a cargo carrier loaded up. I really don't worry that you're going to go over that 900 pounds. Now, it can be used with a weight distribution hitch if you're looking for a little bit more capacity out of this hitch, and it bumps up significantly. This one actually will go to 10,000 pounds for that gross trailer weight rating, and then your tongue weight actually goes up as well at 1,500 pounds. So you really have quite a bit of room to grow if you ever needed to. And speaking of towing, something that's really cool with the Blue Ox hitch is going to be this bracket that's welded on. It seems kind of minor, but when it comes time to put a 7-way or a 4-pole wiring, this bracket will allow you to get an additional bracket to bolt up. You have a nice solid spot to get that mounted up. Other times you'll have to get a separate bracket and use a hose clamp to go around it or find somewhere to mount. This just kind of takes the guesswork out of it. That's a nice little addition. The hitch sits really nice against the bumper. It doesn't stick out too far to where you're going to hit your shins on it, but you want to make sure that accessories are going to work well with this. So measuring from the center of the hitch pin hole to the furthest point on our bumper, it's about 3.5 inches, and that comes into play for two different reasons. Sometimes you have cargo carriers and bike racks that stow in a vertical position, and not all fascias will allow for that unless you get special shanks. That's not the case here. I don't worry too much that you'll have any accessories that are going to cause issue, but sometimes when choosing a ball mount, you might want to get one with a slightly longer shank for that ball to stick out further. It'll make it a little bit easier to hook up, but even a traditional ball mount should work just fine with this. And going along with that ball mount, making sure you get the proper rise or drop necessary is going to be important for safe towing. So from the top of our receiver tube opening to the ground, 16 inches. So the best thing that I can recommend for you is if you have your trailer available, get it level, measure from the ground to the top of the coupler, and then from there you can do the numbers to figure out the rise or drop necessary, and that way everything's going to be level. You can also get an adjustable ball mount. That's a great option as well. Now with all of these capacities and towing, it is important. Just because the hitch is rated for a certain number doesn't necessarily mean the vehicle is, because it accounts for transmission, brakes, suspension, all of that. So check your vehicle's owner's manual, see what it's capable of towing, compare that not only with the hitch, but also your ball mount, ball, or anything that you're going to be using to tow, and take the lowest number. That way you're not overloading anything and you stay safe out on the road. When it comes to the installation of this trailer hitch receiver, it is extremely easy to do. You can definitely do it in your driveway or in garage, probably about 30 minutes or less. You're going to be taking bolts, putting them through a block, and feeding them through the frame rail. Then you just raise the hitch up, take nuts, tighten it down, torque them, and then you're good to go. If you're going to be doing this yourself, I'll walk you through all the steps to make sure you get it installed. But if you don't have the place to do it, the tools to do it, the time, or want to do it, I totally get it. But having a hitch is totally worth it. If you need someone to get this installed for you, you can reach out to our dealer locator to find someone close to you to get that hitch on, and then you can start enjoying the travels and adventures with your van. Now also, once you get it installed, whether you do it yourself or have someone install it, take some pictures of it. Let us know how you're using it. It helps us kind of paint the picture for neighbors out there that may have a similar vehicle, figure out what they can do with the hitch, and maybe some helpful tips. As far as the installation goes, follow along. Let's get this hitch installed. Get our hitch installed. This is actually a pretty easy one to do. What we're going to do on each side of the frame rail is get 3 carriage bolts and 3 spacer blocks ready to go. These are going to become the mounting point for our hitch to bolt up. And pretty easy, we're going to drop in. You'll see that there's 2 holes towards the rear of the vehicle. We'll be using both of those, and there's a cutout in the frame that allows me to just simply drop these into place. Make sure that carriage bolt's seated in there. That way when we raise the hitch up, we'll be able to thread on our bolts. Now on the back side, or I guess technically the front side of the vehicle, there's 2 holes, and the hitch also has 2 holes. So looking at the instructions, they had me use the forwardmost one, but the picture had it into the rear one. I really don't think it matters. They're pretty close together, so I'm just going to use this rearmost hole. And then we're just going to repeat on the other side. Now you may notice the pull wires that are included with the hitch, and these are nice because what you can do is thread these on, and you can actually just spin this on, and what that's going to do is when the time comes to raise the hitch up, you can guide these through the holes and then that hitch will go straight up. But if this gets pushed up in the frame rail, you'll have that pull wire to pull that back down. It's not 100% necessary, especially because you can reach in the frame and push that down. But if you're doing this by yourself or you want to make this a little bit easier, you can by all means put those in place. I'm going to omit it. I'm going to have an extra set of hands raise this up. And like I said, if these push in normally on a frame rail, you're in a world of hurt because you'll have to fish those out. But the fact that this is all open makes it to where these really aren't that necessary. So again, if you do push it up in the frame rail, I wouldn't worry too much because, I mean, really you can just push that through. Now our exhaust here on our passenger side, the heat shield's kind of in the way, but if you just kind of push that off to the side, you should be good. And with this raised up, I'll just thread this on. We'll make sure we have our other side threaded on, and then we'll continue getting our hardware in place. You can go back and snug them down with a 3/4 inch socket. You don't need to get crazy here because we're going to come back with a torque wrench. We'll come back with our torque wrench. Same socket. Torque wrench settings are found in the instruction manual. And this is going to be important because it's going to make sure that long term, we're going to be towing a decent amount of weight potentially, that everything's going to stay in place. It's also not going to be too tight. And if you need a torque wrench, you can find one here at eTrailer. You can generally go to an auto parts store and rent one for free. But we'll get these torqued down, and then we'll be good to go. And that was a look at installation of the Blue Ox Trailer Hitch receiver on a 2021 Chevy Express van.